Gardens to share his love and knowledge of animals for almost 50 years. Please give it up for Mr. Jack Hanna.
It's a real honor to be here today. As a matter of fact, this is the first show I have all year. We have over 70 to 100 of them throughout the country this year, not all these beautiful parks. And so we live part-time in Montana, so this is my first show. So if I screw up, which I will do, if you watch anything I do, it's my fault, not the animal's fault. I did sign pictures before the show. I'll be here after the show to try to get each and every one of you. I could sit back here at the table and do pictures, and I'd only get 30, 40 people in an hour. So this way, at least you can take home something. And that picture's good for bird paper, fire paper, whatever you do. But I have been coming to Busch Gardens. I'm almost at 2 years to 50 years. If you were here last year, you know the story how I spent my honeymoon here in 1968, right here in Busch Gardens in Tampa. And I'll tell you folks real quickly, now, we have a lot of animals to see today, we really do, and they told me to keep it to 30 minutes. If somebody tells me to do something, I'll do 45 minutes. And we'll try to show each and every animal. In all seriousness, this park, folks, along the SeaWorld parks, are some of the finest, the finest in the entire world. A lot of you young people came up to me just now and said, hey, Mr. Hanna, how can we do something like you do? Some of you may not realize this. Busch Gardens, we, by the way, have a summer camp. A lot of the zoos in this country and parks have summer camps. But I can tell you this, when it comes to the epitome of a summer camp, the Busch Gardens and SeaWorld parks have the finest, not only this country, but the world. So if you kids are interested, in all seriousness, get on the phone, get online, whatever, and go look at their camps here. That's how you would start. If I was going to get a resume now, we have 2,400 employees from the zoo. It's a huge operation, just like these parks are. And it's amazing the demand that we are put up with to try to see all the people that want to come here and work. When you have that summer camp behind you, kids, it really helps. So I'm not trying to plug the park to get you to sign up. That's not why I did that. I did it because they do have one of the finest camps. So make sure you look at that. So many of you asked me that question. And also, I was asked about this little documentary you saw about SeaWorld this year. And I do mention it because I can tell you now that you now have online the answer to every one of those questions. I would not be at these parks if I didn't think they were the finest in the world. And the people that work here dedicate their lives to these animals. Well, SeaWorld and Busch Gardens, they live up to what they say. They give millions, not a million. They supply more animal rehabbing in this country and throughout the world than all private zoos put together in this country, 221 of us. So round of applause. We'll start off with an animal, being a veteran in our armed services. We'll start with an animal that no matter how many times I see it in Montana or here, I get chills. I don't care who you are or where you live. This represents our country. You know, it is an amazing bird. A lot of you know this because you have it in Florida. But let me give you a real quick thing here. Not only does Busch Gardens do it, show. Hey, Brian, why don't you come out? Hey, Brian. By the way, that's not hurting the animal, it's called baiting. Brian, come out here, please clean it up. Anyway, the bald eagle, everybody, had a severe problem in this country, almost on the verge of extinction. I can only give you one example. On Lake Erie, in 1978, we had 5 nesting pairs of bald eagles on Lake Erie. The Columbus had happened late. Finally, we had our birds lay eggs that year, first time ever. They laid the eggs. Just like here at SeaWorld, they get injured or other birds that cannot be released back in the wild. They're used for education. Now on Lake Erie, thanks to not just the Busch Gardens and Columbus Zoo and several others, on Lake Erie there aren't 5 nesting pairs, there are 260 nesting pairs. So that's what the zoological world of Busch Gardens, what we do to get these animals back in the wild. The white head and tail develops at the age of about 3 to 4 years old. We just had bald eagles hatch in my little place in Montana 2 years in a row now. She had 2 of them. It's amazing to watch that little old chick, this big, in less than 12 weeks, be as big as that bird right there. It's one of the fastest growing birds in the world. It's amazing. The white head and tail did not happen until the bird I just told you is older. So a lot of bald eagles, some people think they're buzzards, and some people think they're kind of birds that are going to take their sheep or hurt their animals or whatever. And that's not true. The bald eagle is an animal really. When I've studied them, they like to eat something dead more than alive, believe it or not. The other eagles, other birds of prey, only eat live things. The bald eagle is kind of not lazy, but they will find dead things and sit on like a vulture. That talons you see there on his glove, if that were a wild bird, and by the way, this would never ever happen to you. If that bird came down and got on his arm and got a glove, it would go through his skin, through his muscle, and pop his bone in a split second. Because it's got 1,000 pounds of pressure per square inch, that talon. Their eyesight's incredible, and again, they're a national bird, the American bald eagle. Thank you, Busch Gardens. I want you to see this animal guy. I hope they get this on the screen. I don't know where that camera is, but because oh no, that's what is that the key? That's what I thought. We got two things here, by the way. Let me do this one on the box here first. This is a prehensile tail porcupine. I got confused because I'll tell you about this in a second. The prehensile tail porcupine is from Central and South America, all right? You have the North American porcupine. You've heard of that, I'm sure. You have this animal, which is from Central South America. It has a prehensile tail, lives in trees. This animal here, his quills basically, is hard to get stuck by. He's cute. It's hard to get stuck. He gets about this big, by the way. The African porcupine, everyone, we don't have one of those there, what they do. The African porcupine, which Busch Gardens does a great job with here, is about this big. The quills are this long, the African porcupine. There are no barbs on the African porcupine or on this porcupine. You take the North American porcupine, which is about this big, by the way, there's a barb into that quill. You cannot even see it with the naked eye. The minute they do not throw their quills like some people think. The minute you touch that porcupine, or let's say a mountain lion or a dog, or whatever, a wolf, out where we live in Montana, if they try to eat the porcupine, and by the way, people eat the porcupine in this country throughout the world. I've never eaten one, but that's what they do. But these animals, they love these animals to try to eat this animal. What happens is, the quill gets in the wolf's mouth, the paw, or the cougar's, or whatever it might be, or a dog, your dog at home, when the porcupines exist, you cannot get that quill out. And 60–70% of the time, that animal will die. The infection sets in immediately. I know that because a friend of mine went over to pick up a porcupine about 6 years ago. He didn't mean to, the quills went in his kneecap. It went that big. He was in the hospital, that big in less than 2 hours. So our porcupine, that little thing, can be fatal to a lot of animals. This one lives in Central South America. This right here, look at this closely, everybody, this animal here, because there's only several places in the United States or in the world you can see one. It's called an echidna, one of only 2 egg-laying mammals in the world. You may sit back and go, oh, what's the big deal? Have you ever heard of a mammal laying an egg, like a duck-billed platypus when I was filming in Australia? It's amazing to see an egg come out of a mammal. Now, the platypus is an incredible creature. They have a little poison claw back here. They have a little bit of venomous on it. This one here is not, by the way, it's not, you can touch it, but as far as defense mechanisms, you know, they just roll up in a ball, nothing can eat it. What's neat about this creature is, by the way, too, it lays the egg, and then that youngster, when it hatches, it's hard for me to say it, I think it's a bird, it's a mammal, they don't have a breast. This animal has a flap of skin that folds out, and the milk is blood red, especially in Australia. The milk just is laying there on this flap of skin. That's how they get babies. There's no teeth, obviously, there, but if you look at that closely on the screen there, look at that hands and that nose. It's really an incredible creature in nature every time I look at it. And by the way, they have to live in dirt. Ours at the Columbus Zoo, very few parks have them, live in just total dirt. The dirtier the better. So there's 2 animals you rarely ever see. This beautiful creature here from Central South America, the porcupine, and then that beautiful echidna, one of only 2 egg-laying mammals in the world. Thank you so much for Busch Gardens. And everybody, that's really why we have zoological parks. Why do we have zoological parks in Busch Gardens? Let me tell that this first, and I'll tell you. This is my daughter, Julie, by the way. Julie works at the zoo with me. She's how raised this little one. This one here won't have too much right now. This is the maybe mountain lion cougar. This coming week, everybody, this coming week, we'll probably be announcing that we are now looking to receive in Montana. About 7–8 days ago, a big fire took place down in the Bitterroot Mountains near northwestern Montana. The firefighters were fighting the fire. They heard this squeaking going on right underneath this big log, with the flames coming all around it with these 2 baby mountain lions. The mother was gone. They don't know if the mother lost her life in the fire or what happened. Now, in Columbus and places like SeaWorld or Busch Gardens here, that's what we try and do, is to help these creatures when they have no hope. The mountain lion, as you see there, has spots when it's first born. If the male mountain lion is anywhere near the female and she has this baby, that baby will be consumed in a matter of seconds. Once she breeds and gets away from him, he leaves. He leaves and she makes sure she's nowhere around him until this baby's grown. After about a year or two, she cycles again, then she'll go find him and breed. And no way can she be around him when the baby's born. This is one of the longest sleeping cats in the world. They can be 30 to 40 feet at one time. In camouflage in the wild, trust me, I've only seen 2 mountain lions my entire life, living in Montana part-time and filming out here all over this part of the country. Very difficult to see, by the way. Thank you, Jim, for being here. Remember what I said, everybody, why do we have parks like this? So you folks can see some of these animals. We have a saying in our place, touch the heart to teach the mind. If you can't touch your heart to teach your mind, these creatures have no chance whatsoever at all. And everybody can't go to see animals like we do. So I hope this is why you understand why we're all here. This man here is crazy. I would not carry this thing for all the money in China. You know what that is? A Komodo dragon. That's not just some big old lizard you're looking at. That thing, this thing right here, can grow, I've seen it anywhere from 8 to 12 feet long. This animal is unbelievable. His sense of smell and that tongue, the sense of the smell of the Komodo dragon is phenomenal. Why is that one of the worst bites you could ever have in the zoo world, in the zoological world? Or, for example, if you're in the wild, this would never happen to you, by the way, ever. It does happen to antelope and other animals, not antelope, deer, things like that, where this animal is Komodo islands. This creature is very fast. You see that tongue coming out? He's feeding particles, heat, that kind of thing. But what's unique about this creature is it's not venomous. But the bacteria in his mouth in the wild is beyond any animal I know of in the wild. We talk about cat bites, dog bites, human bites are worse than dogs and cat bites. The bacteria, but this animal here, once you're bitten by it, if you're not in a hospital or a doctor in the next 2 to 3 hours, I don't know if you'll be anywhere. Because these animals, when they bite them, they actually bite them, maybe fight them, and then let's say that animal gets away. It's been written up that these Komodo dragons will follow, when they make the kill, try to, and they'll follow that prey anywhere from 5 to 10 miles just with that tongue on the blood that might be followed. It's an amazing animal. But again, it's not one you ever in our business would be bitten by because of the bacteria in those jaws. Did you hear that? Or let's hear for the Komodo dragon, one of the biggest animals on the planet. I'd like to hold the Komodo dragon for a picture, but I just won't do it today. Maybe tomorrow I'll do this. So how many of you have been cutting Busch Gardens for over like 5 years? Years. Okay, don't be funny now. Okay, 30 years? Oh my gosh, 40 years. Okay, the rest of you are probably in heaven by now. Anyway. These guys surprise me. I swear I did not know this was a baby aardvark. Look at this close, everyone. Remember what I told you about why we exist today? Guess how many aardvarks I've seen in the wild in Africa in the last, since 1979. Oh my gosh, there's a big one. What's the first word in the dictionary? I didn't make that up. It isn't. You know what? David Leonard asked me to spell aardvark. I would know how to spell aardvark. A-R-T-V-A-R-K. Okay? Aardvark. Anyway, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen. Oh my gosh. Look at the size of these things, everybody. What I'm telling you is, I've only seen it one time in the wild. That was like 12 midnight. I see the butt of an aardvark in the hole. Because you would never see these. These things are so difficult to find at night. Think about it. What hunts at night? Lions, leopards. Okay, not cheetahs, lions and leopards, other hyenas. But this is a unique creature. Someone told me that the good Lord took all the leftover parts and made an aardvark. If you look at that, the smell of this animal is phenomenal. If you look at those claws, I don't know if you can show this on the screen. See those claws there? They can literally, folks, this thing can dig a hole and put himself in it in less than probably 3 to 5 minutes. It's like a bulldozer. It's like a shovel, a sharp shovel. They can actually, the only means of defense this animal's got is to hide in that hole or take those legs there, and if a lion or a young lion came after him, it's just rip his head off with those claws he has. But I love these animals. This is what you see probably out of 221 zoological parks. I bet you Busch Gardens and 20 others are the ones that have these anywhere in this country. And they breed these animals, by the way. So a round of applause for this beautiful park here. Wouldn't it be funny to go to a motel that said no pets allowed and walk in with him? That would ruin my day. I didn't do that tonight. We'll be real quiet, man, but I want you to see something here that very few people in the world get to see. This is a whole saber, 6'2". Look at this closely, everyone. A snow leopard. Every time I see, oh, he sees himself. Every time I see one of these, just like a lot of these animals, people say, Jack, don't you ever get tired of doing this? The answer is no. I can sit and look at this animal, all the ones we had all the night, by the hour. And every time I see the snow leopard, we've been very fortunate. Brian's with us at the Zoo, my daughter Julie, Susie Rapp, several others. Every time I see this animal, all of us, 4 of us, have raised quite a few snow leopards over the last 30 years. It's not only that, it's a man of this is one of the most endangered cats in the world. I also wish all of you could feel his coat. His coat is not like a cheetah. It's not like a cheetah. It's not like a leopard. It's not like a lion. It's like silk. His coat is just like silk. You see that long tail? That long tail, by the way, is one of the few cats in the world that has fur on the bottom of their feet. That long tail, when he gets big, he'll only get to me, by the way, he'll only get to me about 100, maybe 90 to 120 pounds, like this big. That tail, though, is longer than he is. That tail gets to be this thick, as thick as my thigh, almost like this thick. What does he do with that tail? He takes that tail and wraps it around his body, around his face. Without the tail, this animal would die. He lives in the Himalayas, right? Nepal, Tibet. He lives at altitudes anywhere from probably 6,000 to 15 to 20,000 feet. He lives at very high altitudes. When he gets in a cave and puts that tail around him, what is it, 30, 40, 50 below zero? That's how it keeps him alive. If you look at the ears, look at the little ears on him for frostbite. It's amazing how nature breeds these animals, how every one of them has an adaptation to where they live. So thank you, Brian, for being a beautiful snow leopard from Columbus. When that animal also, other than the mountain lion, this animal here probably has some of the greatest leaping power in the world as well. By the way, this cat here, like the cheetah, like most all your spotted cats in the world, everybody, tigers, except for lions. I'm sorry, lions are the only ones that are real social creature. But tigers, all these other animals, these leopards here, cloud leopard, snow leopard, are all solitary creatures. And that's one of the reasons we have a difficult time with them in nature, because unless they're around and she cycles, it can't work. I don't care where you go or what you do, having penguins are incredible. These are black-footed penguins, also called the African black-footed penguin, right? They also call it the jackass penguin. It plays like a donkey. Some of you are saying, if you're on a game show, you'll win some money. Because they're going to ask you, how many penguin species are there? I think there's 17, right? Around there. How many live in cold weather? I didn't know this. How many live in cold weather? So most people say 17. Only 5 out of 17 live in cold weather. When we go to Antarctica, when we film at the bottom of the world, right? And there's a guy named Hanna back here filming on several trips. We've taken SeaWorld and Busch Gardens people around the world with us filming. And they'll tell you, when you go down there in Antarctica, let's say there's an iceberg as big as this building here. You're out there on top of it. There could be 5,000 to 10,000 penguins out there. And they all come up to you. You're not allowed to touch them. Just stand there, just look at you. They have no fear of man because man's never done anything to a penguin, basically. These animals, though, aren't from Antarctica. Only 5 live in cold weather in the world. The emperor, the king penguin, I think the chin strap, all live in tremendous, 40, 60, 70 below zero. These animals here being from Africa, if they were out right now, for example, in Ohio, where I live part-time, it was a rainy day, like 38 to 42 degrees, and the animal wouldn't make it several days. They don't have the blubber. Is it breeding season? They don't have the blubber that the other ones have. They're very fast swimmers. Their main predators would be not man. Man is never really eating the penguin. They collect the eggs. the feathers, things like that. Some oil spills really affect these. These are endangered species, by the way, right now. Down near Cape Town, here we go there. You'll see a little town outside there where most of these live. It's incredible sitting on the beach and watching these little guys go. They're monogamous, they mate for life, and usually the female will lay the egg. And you should have a round of applause for men. The male comes up there immediately and sits on that egg, by the way. She leaves in less than 1 minute. And she leaves him sit on that egg for 30 to 40 days while she goes out there and has fun in the ocean, and the poor male almost dies. So, thank you, ladies. Let's hear from our good ladies here. And by the way, Busch Gardens and SeaWorld, the cold weather penguins, SeaWorld, the SeaWorld parks, one of the few places in the world you'll ever see a habitat for cold penguins from Antarctica. By the way, SeaWorld is getting more money into research for penguins in Antarctica than any park in the world put together. It's amazing the amount of money they've spent to save those animals. This right here is an animal that I doubt very few of you have seen. It's called a palm civet from Malaysia, Borneo, Sumatra, that part of the world. There are also civets from Africa. The African civet is huge. It's like this long. It looks like I can't describe the thing to you. It's almost like a porcupine with this long, frizzly hair. It's hard, but it's real skinny though. This is a palm civet again. It's nocturnal. How many of you adults remember the SARS disease about 10 or 15 years ago? SARS disease in Asia there. Yeah. Some doctors might remember it. The SARS disease, everyone, was fatal. You know about the Ebola now, obviously in Africa, all right? The SARS disease, though, went and killed I don't know how many people in China. 2 weeks later, people were dying in Toronto, Canada. They said, what in the world's happening? I don't know how they found this out. In China, they found out in less than a month that the SARS disease was started by the palm civet right here. Because this is a delicacy in China. It sells for $200 in a restaurant. I'll put it this way, it used to be in restaurants. Now, remember something, everyone. We all have cultures throughout the world. Someone said, oh my gosh, they eat the palm civet. But think what I have hamburgers and chicken. We have certain cultures in our country. That just happens to be a culture. This is a wild animal. However, what happened with SARS set forth because they used to raise these in a captive environment for restaurants. That has now been stopped immediately once that was found out. They did try, they had to destroy many of them. Like when there's mad cow disease in Europe, you've heard of mad cow disease, Africa, Europe, they destroy all the cattle in that area. However, they will never find these animals, ever. In the jungles of Sumatra or wherever I saw these things filming them, I never filmed them. You know why? I was trying to. I stayed there for 50 years, never seen one of them. This animal's in the mongoose family, which means it eats anything. Like our Wolverine in this country, this is a Wolverine in that part of the world. This thing will eat fruits, it'll eat everything. However, its favorite diet are venomous snakes. This animal's been known to take down a king cobra. It's over 15 feet long. Have you ever seen it? I'm fascinated by cobras. Cobras, the ones some I film, stand up this tall. They're out there, I stand way back here. But then, when you get alarmed, they can stand up. What's this thing do here, everybody? You know what he does? He walks over like this at a cobra. He's pretty fast too. He'll start walking around the cobra like this. It's far enough to wait when the strike of a cobra, everybody's like this. It's predictable, okay? It's not that fast. A rattlesnake will hit you 3 or 4 times before you can move your arm that quick. The cobra's like that. So this animal goes there and walks around the cobra like this. And the cobra keeps trying to bite him. You know what this animal does then? He runs around the cobra. So the cobra stands there like this. He goes, and the cobra can't get him. And so he gets all dizzy. The cobra gets all dizzy. The cobra falls over. And he bites the cobra's head off. That's funny. He's not finished with the cobra. And that's a palm civet, everybody. Also, go to Starbucks tomorrow, real quickly. Go to Starbucks and ask them for palm civet coffee. They will not let the manager will know what it is. It's $500 a pound. All right. Now, why is that? Because this animal eats a coffee bean, goes in his stomach, through his intestines, and out on the ground with a film coating on it. They take it and make it and sell it to you for $500 a pound. Because it's medicinal, it's a vitamin. Enjoy Starbucks. That's a true story. That animal's been with us for over 14 years. He's a neat creature. A lot of people don't ever get to see the palm civet. And that's why I bring him again, to show a lot of people, a lot of animals that, you know. I think I'm supposed to get some volunteers, right? How do I pick them? Don't you want to bring people? When was the last fed? A month ago. Okay. Hey, how you doing, everybody? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm joking. That didn't go well. I need somebody to go a little. No, you're not little enough. Come on, you're skinny. Come on. Your brother's skinny. No, don't get it. Turn around this way, Smitty. Turn around this way. Turn this side. Over here. Don't straight to the head. No. Now tell me something. Tell me something. Is this slimy? Slimy? You think it's slimy?
No.
Yeah, last kid said yes. Oh well. Anyway, they're right, it's not slimy. Everybody thinks they're slimier, but they're not slimy at all. This is a python. This is a Monty Python. Some people call it Julius Squeezer. Anyway, this is an African python. Which one is it? Burmese python, that's what I call it. There's pythons, everybody, from Africa and Asia, pythons. The anacondas from South America. The anaconda lives in the water. Some people say, what's the biggest snake in the world? I've heard that there's a python that they did find in Africa, documented at 34 feet. Weighed well over. We had a python at the Komodo Zoo for probably 8 years without a cancer. This animal was 27 feet, and it was probably around, I would say, 900 to 1,200 pounds. It was like this big with a telephone pole. These animals, by the way, do not have venom. They have about 200 teeth shaped like fish hooks. So they do bite. They bite like this, all right? Their jaw muscles will freeze on some of these animals. When it freezes, they cannot let go. They have to wait about a half an hour to an hour, and he relaxes his jaw muscles, and then he lets go to swallow the prey whole, or you can run it. I was bitten by an anaconda, believe it or not, up here Lake Monroe in 1974. Almost lost these 2 fingers. It was amazing. The power of these animals is unbelievable. By the way, they go 2 years without ever eating a thing. So let's hear from Monty Python there. See, I've already gone over my time, then I got 16 animals left. I got maybe 1 or 2 left here. I don't know what we have left. Oh, we're going to fly the... Okay, wait, we're going to fly something, I think, correct? We're going to fly a bird.
Oh, him.
I'm getting out of the way. Where's that bird? Where's the bird? Oh, there's a bird up there. Don't even get alarmed, the bird lands on your head. It did this several months ago. Remember, it won't hurt you. That's beautiful. Let's hear it for our beautiful ground hornbill. Everyone, in Africa, when we film there, the ground hornbill, why is it called that? Because the bird does spend most of the time on the ground. When they fly, what I've seen, they fly real low to the ground, by the way. That bird is gorgeous. You see that big, beautiful face there? In nature, in sunlight, you're not believing. You see almost the difficulty the bird has flying? It's almost too heavy to fly. That's what they do. You know what they eat? They actually will follow herds of zebra, herds of elephants, herds of giraffe, whatever the herds are, wildebeest, whatever. They follow these herders. We always see the hornbill standing back at about 2 miles. What are they doing? They're taking and eating all the, it can be snakes, it can be lizards, it can be turtles, whatever. They're down there in the ground. That's what they eat, these animals here. It's called, there's several different types of hornbill. That's a beautiful one here. I've never seen one fly, and he must be until today. So thank you so much for bringing out a beautiful creature. You've seen the hornbills that live in trees. They actually go inside there and put the mud on the outside. Those are much smaller. They actually go in that tree, lay their eggs, and they bring mud. They seal themselves in there until the babies hatch. This everybody is a $1 house cat we got down to pound. Anyway, these 2 folks here, Susie Rapp has been to Columbus Zoo, everybody, for 34 years. She's one of us, all of our resident people here, all the shows, Busch Gardens, all of it. This man you see here is considered one of the finest trainers. He comes from Holland. I'm serious about this. He's been here for 20-something years in our country. And we snatched him away from a person that we may know, and just, not these parts, but another great trainer we have. But he does a tremendous job with us with our birds, teaching people how birds fly, how cheetahs run, that type of thing. This right here is a golden retriever. Oh, golden lab, I'm sorry. And that is a cheetah, everybody. The cheetah's how old is it now? 4.5 months. This cheetah was born with a leg deficiency, all right? The Columbus Zoo is a place called the Wild. Now he sees himself. Remember something, everyone. This animal in the wild will not have lived more than probably, once he leaves the mother, this animal will live maybe for 6 hours at the most. This animal cannot even walk. Susie and all these guys have done a tremendous job taking this animal, when everyone said, told us that the animal might have to be put down. She said no. We've done this with several of our cats, by the way. And now we have a beautiful animal that lives in incredible places. We have 10,000 acres called the Wilds near our zoo. We have one of the largest collections of cheetahs in the world, by the way. Your parks here, the Busch Gardens parks, they do a tremendous job also of really working with cheetahs. Remember, look at the cheetah. Look at the cheetah's tail, everybody. This cheetah, by the way, you know how big cheetahs get, right? You've seen them, correct? They're about this tall. They look like the size of a greyhound. Now his buddy has been raised with him, is kind of confused now. By the way, they've been raised together, right? The cheetah has been clocked, everybody. The cheetah has been clocked at 70 miles per hour. 70 miles per hour. Make sure you understand something. The cheetah is the only cat in the world that has non-retractable claws. The cheetah's foot is like a dog's foot. Every cat in the world, your house cat, retracts their claws. And the cheetah does make a hit, by the way. 60% of the time, 60+% of the time, the animal gets away from it. The cheetah is also one of the only cats in the world that hunts in the heat of the day. But she does make a hit, everybody. She has to grab the throat here. She has to grab the esophagus. A tiger or a lion, that lasts maybe 10 seconds. It's like a bomb going off, not the cheetah. Once she makes the what she has to do, everybody, is hold the throat. At that point, once she gets ready to eat the cheetah, what happens is lions and hyenas come and take the food from the cheetah. The cheetahs are now considered the most endangered cat on the continent of Africa. Remember something, the Egyptians trained the cheetah to hunt thousands of years ago. Like you might have a hunting dog, the cheetah would hunt them, kill an antelope or something, they'd go up there, call the cheetah off, and do that. If you go to Egypt, hopefully someday it'll be safer, you'll see inside the pyramids, the drawing of the cheetah. The cheetah does not live anywhere in northern Africa. Go to the equator, 2,000 miles south, goes through Kenya, that part of the world, that's where the cheetah starts. Botswana, South Africa, Namibia, Zambia, that's where you find the cheetah. The animals are solitary. This is an incredible animal, everyone. When we film it on a hunt, 3 cameras can't even film it. That's how fast it is. Again, the Busch Gardens parks, all these parks do a great job. And one last thing, look at the eyes in there. We can show the face of this camera right here sitting, like this man. Look at the eyes, everybody. I want you to see the eyes real quickly, then we'll stop. The eyes there, look at the dark mark. You see that? See the dark teardrops? Isn't it amazing that Mother Nature invented that way before we knew about the chalk, football players and baseball players, wear that underneath their eyes? The cheetah does that for sunlight, because she hunts in the heat of the day. Again,